In today's breaking story, MSNBC has just uncovered a massive JD Vance scandal. That's right, the scandals are never ending for Donald Trump and his pathetic administration. How's it going, everybody? Hunter Avallone here with Occupy Democrats. Welcome back to another video. Now, as I was saying, Trump is a disaster, and at this point, his brain is mush. I mean, recently he was asked about Jerome Powell, and he literally rambled off about everything except the question.
So Jackson Hole, Jay Powell today said he suggested that they might cut interest rates, but they have to proceed.
Well, we call him too late for a reason. He should have cut him a year ago. He's too late. We have a stock market that's up 1,000 points today. I better be careful because I go out there and I'll see it's down 1,000, right? But it's up 1,000 points when I came in here. We have a country that the market's the hottest it's ever been. The country's better than it's ever been. We have a military that I rebuilt largely in my first term. We had a great, successful first term, but this is going to be even better. But we rebuilt it. We gave a lot of it away to Afghanistan, but relatively small compared to the overall. But I think it was the most embarrassing day and period in the history of our country that they allowed those 13 wonderful people, but it's really hundreds of people were killed. And they don't talk about the 48 that was so severely wounded with no legs, no arms, nobody ever mentions them except me. But that was the worst day, it just showed how incompetent. Frankly, if that didn't happen, I really believe that you might not have had the problem with Russia. I think Putin was sitting there watching these stupid people running our country and said, this is a time to invade. This is a time. And then Biden made the statement, well, he can do a small incursion. When he said that, it was off to the races, right? When he said he can do a small incursion, remember that? I was surprised he knew the word incursion. I didn't think he had that good of a vocabulary. I want to thank everybody.
And of course, this explains why he chose JD Vance, of all people, to be his vice president.
Being sent on this little errand to come and play defense in Georgia, defending a bill they can't defend, trying to sell the unsellable. And let me just say this about JD Vance, because he was supposed to be this avatar of a new GOP that was for working class people in the United States. His legacy forever now is casting the decisive vote to throw millions of Americans off health care, throw seniors out of their nursing home beds, all to serve the wealthiest and most powerful people in the country. He has zero credibility as a champion for America's working class, and the damage control he's trying to do in Georgia this week is going to fall flat, and Georgians have already rejected this policy.
And now MSNBC has just uncovered a massive JD Vance scandal. That's right, take a look at today's top story.
JD Vance has been vice president for 7 months now. And in those 7 months, he's gone on 8 vacations. 8! His first one was 5 days after starting the job. Do you remember that? It was the Vance family ski vacation to the Sugar Bush Resort in Vermont. 5 days into the job. His motorcade was met with protesters. Many carried signs with local-themed insults like Vance skis and jeans. I mean, it is a little weird for the vice president to go on vacation less than 1 week into the job. But then he went again in March, the JD and Usha Vance Greenland vacation. That was going to be a family trip. Greenland, of course, the object of Trump's bizarre territorial obsessions. They had to plan an extended trip with the whole family, the kids. They ended up staying for just 3 hours at a U.S. Space Force base to avoid protests by Greenlanders. Up next was the fabulous Vance family Italian vacation 1 month later in April. Now, for that, they shut down the Colosseum to thousands of ticketed visitors so Vance's family could have a private tour. Nice perk. Imagine saving for years for a trip to see the Colosseum and you can't because the vice president shut it down. He didn't even show for that tour, by the way, reportedly to avoid the, yes, you guessed it, numerous protesters. That's the same trip where Vance got a personal audience with Pope Francis and the Pope died the following day. Now, also in April, Vance and his family had an India vacation. They got a private tour of the Taj Mahal, which was closed to all other visitors, along with schools in the area, so the Vances didn't have to share the view. Later, an awesome Vance family Disneyland vacation, where we saw the vice president running after his kids. We've, of course, all been there. Very relatable. There weren't a lot of spectators because, you guessed it, the vice president's family got the run of several park areas that were closed to regular patrons, causing jam-ups and long lines for others who were on their costly summer vacations. Last month, Vance and the family had a little Nantucket vacation, a fundraiser, some rest and relaxation, which was tough for them to find because they were surrounded by protesters yet again. Lots of protesters with lots of creative signs, like that one. And then just 2 weeks ago, Vance and his family headed to Ohio for a J.D. Vance birthday vacation. And now Vance is just back home from taking his clan on vacation number 8, the Cotswold, England family vacation, where he stayed in a $10,000 a month manor home. Their presence snarled the roads. It rankled residents who said police knocked on their doors seeking the names and social media handles of everyone who lives there. I mean, look, this is not surprising, right? It's clear J.D. Vance is a guy who's just decided to maximize the trappings of his power immediately upon taking office. He likes the perks. He likes abusing the public trust to rack up the privileges no mere mortal can enjoy. It's rank corruption. It's a compulsion to hoover up every little privilege you can instead of serving the public.
Thanks so much for watching. Please click that like button and subscribe to Occupy Democrats so that you can stay informed and help us stop Donald Trump.